And welcome to the Under the Bus podcast. I'm Clayton Fawcett, joined by our long lost buddy, Nelson. It is great to have you back. How are you doing?
Great to be back. The draft just happened. I'm pumped. I'm coming off the adrenaline of seeing a bunch of prospects just get picked. I'm excited for summer league. So let's get rolling.
All right, Cam, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. The Lakers got a player tonight, so it's better than what I thought we were gonna come out with today. So that's cool.
Thanks, Negative Nancy. And Merge, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I've never been more excited for the bottom fourth of a draft before. But that's what happened tonight. After Zion, it just tanked all the way down to when we got 46.
Right? Perfect. All right, so if you have your head in the sand or haven't paid attention or I have no idea what the hell is wrong with you, the Lakers were able to buy and trade for number 46 in the 2019 NBA draft, where they selected Talen Horton Taylor. Oh my goodness, Taylor Horton Tucker. There we go.
Yeah,
I just always call him THT, so I never actually call him by his name. With the 46th pick, they gave up cash considerations and a 2020 second round draft pick. So I'm just going to start off by saying that I would have been totally fine with taking THT if the Lakers would have stayed in the same draft slot that they had before the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm that's just pretty easy way to say I freaking love it. At 46, I understand like there are obviously some concerns with him, but like when before the podcast, me and Merge were talking, and when people that generally despise everything about the Lakers are saying, "Damn it, that's a great pick," you know it's a good pick. So, Nelson,
Yeah,
what
I mean,
what were you thinking?
I just love these fucking guys. These guys that can cover a bunch of positions, that can play make, and somehow still shoot the three and create some for themselves. Like these are like when you think about the modern player, like this is what you think of. And there are some elements to his game that are still really raw. Like the 3-point shot, of course, is developing. You know, he's not a super high end shooter, but I mean, this guy can guard 1 through 5 and can even play some like 1 through 5 too, which is kind of crazy. You don't want him playing, I mean, center obviously at 6'4", but I mean, Jesus, this guy's a tank too. I don't know. Like this is exactly what you want. And although it's raw, it's a risk that you take 10 times out of 10 because when it pans out, then you get a Draymond Green-esque player. I know that's like the comp that everyone throws out for him. But even if it's like a light version of that or something that we just haven't seen yet, you know, maybe it's less defensively capable, but more offensively. That's still a really good player because you know it doesn't take much offense to make up for Draymond's defense. But yeah, he has all the capabilities of being a player on that level, and it's gonna take a few years. I think he can play some now, just from the tape that I've seen. I think he can hang in the NBA right now, but you really won't be seeing the fruits of this pick for maybe another few years. But that's going to be pretty key down the line, because these are the kind of picks they need to nail for a contender. Like we were all talking about, everyone has been talking about how the AD trade happened, but even though that's happened, at the end of the day, what's going to matter is what Lakers do between the margins. And this kind of swing is really important because, these reclamation projects, there's only so much, and there's only so much they can develop into. So you really got to look more towards the draft to get those kind of players, and to have this guy who, I mean, based off the profile that I've seen, some of the numbers that I've seen, he was actually one of the guys that I did some work on. Even though I just got it at a school like about a week ago, I was able to do some work on him, and I would have been totally comfortable taking him, possibly in the lower end of the lottery, and to get him at 46, it's just crazy.
Agreed. As you said, he's kind of like a tank, man. 6'4", 7'1" wingspan. Apparently,
every single time that's 7-1. Just
yeah, he's a +9, which
He's
there's very
235.
few. Yeah, weighs 235 at the combine. Apparently, also has humongous hands, 9.75 inches, which is the size that Kawhi's hands are. Obviously, we're not saying he's going to be Kawhi.
We're saying he's
but-
gonna be better. That's what we're saying.
But he's just definitely a very nice piece that we're all happy with, and like we're not just saying that we would have taken him there just because the Lakers picked him at 46. Like, this is a guy that we've all been talking. We've seen the slide. None of us, like, we understood it, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, what in the world? And now, like, just ecstatic about it. Cam, your thoughts?
Well, I like it. I think the value's there. I didn't really find out about Horton Tucker until I want to say about 2 months ago because of marriage. I'm always kind of on the late end with, kind of the late end guys. But, I saw that he was projected to go in the first round a lot early, throughout the season. And the upside's there, So I think it's pretty good. It's cool. I'm not, as ecstatic as everybody else, but it's all right.
Cam is still down from
Cam is
having to
mourning
give
a
up.
lot now, man.
Yeah, he's at from all the guys that were given up in the AD trade. Cam is excited. He's also very, I would guess, melancholy person compared to the rest of us. He doesn't get as up and excited as the rest of us. He's not going to be yelling like.
I'll be excited in about 2 weeks when he's actually playing. I'm just. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be quite like me and Nelson.
Yeah.
Where,
Give me these fucking switchy guys, man. Give me every single person who can fucking switch. Modern NBA fucking defense and offense. Let's go.
Okay, Merge. Well, give me your thoughts about when the Lakers actually took THT.
Well, at first I didn't really think it was happening, and then someone brought up, "Oh, he's with Clutch, right?" I'm like, "Okay, he's gonna be a Laker."
That was probably Derek. I think Derek was the one
Derek
that
said that.
Out.
I said, "Okay, yeah, he's gonna be a Laker." I'm not even if he isn't picked up, he's gonna be a Laker. And at that point, I've been a guy that's been in on him from like the beginning of the he had stood out to me from the beginning of the college season, but there was this like. I was good with him at 11 at one point. I was willing to consider him at that point. And to get him at 46 is, like Nelson said, it's so important to get these values on guys who might end up making or breaking how good your team can be. Getting guys who are cheap or who are also super high upside guys, and if they pan out, they turn into the Draymonds of the world and the Pascal Siakams and people like that, and he's more in a Siakam sort of mold in terms of he probably won't contribute like Draymond did because Draymond was a senior when he came out, and I believe Siakam was Siakam? No, he was a senior too because he's super old.
Yeah.
But he didn't get a ton.
Wait. Siakam's only 25 years old. He's still learning how to play basketball.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
He can still be a superstar. I forgot. 21-year-old Brandon Ingram, he can't learn anymore. But
22-year-old Ben Simmons is topped out. That's
oh my god!
Oh shit!
I'm not even getting into this. This is a whole.
It's fine, Rich.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited about what THT can bring because he checks a lot of boxes for me in terms of a guy who can pass, shoot, dribble, a guy who can defend and switch. He can rebound the ball. He's a guy who can block shots, and guys who are 6'4" who can block shots are always fun to watch. He from what I've seen, all the numbers, he might be able to contribute immediately on the defensive end, especially with how long he is. At a 7'1" wingspan, you can put him out there for 10 to 15 minutes and have him just hound guys defensively. Now the upside is the offense because the creation upside is pretty ridiculous because the dude can create shots for himself.
Yeah.
Especially from the outside shot. He loved to shoot those deep threes.
Yeah.
And those step back threes to the left or the right. And he has some playmaking acumen as well. I want to see him more in like pick and roll situations, creating for others. But besides that,
I'm gonna stop you there. That's actually where he's essentially playing the point guard out of the pick and roll. 97th percentile.
Oh yeah,
according to Synergy Stats, 1.409 points per play on passes out of the pick and roll. Thanks, former podcast guest and friend of the pod, Jacob Rude, way back in the day. 86th percentile on attacking the basket out of the high pick and roll. 69th percentile on catch and shoot attempts, which I think
it's nice. It's nice.
Well, yeah. One, that's nice, and two, that's also nice. Yes. Defensively, 90th percentile on defending jumpers off the dribble, which is ridiculous, thanks to the +9 wingspan. 94th percentile when defending the ball handler in pick and rolls, which that's just ridiculous. And I've never actually seen this. The 100th percentile on defending off-screen actions. It was only on just 13 possessions, but he allowed 2 points the entire year out of that for a 0.154 points per play. He's 18 years old, the youngest guy in the draft. The stats love him. He does have issues, such as he is obviously inconsistent. He is also a porker. He does way too much. He's going to need to get his body in better shape, obviously, like most 18-year-olds are. Yep. Not everyone is a chiseled freak like LeBron coming out.
Zion. Even Zion.
I mean, Zion probably could still stand to lose some weight just because of eventually the weight is going to be, bad on his legs. But, he showed up to the combine 235 and he's 6'4" with a 7'1" wingspan. 6'4", usually I like guys a little bit taller, but because of that ridiculous length, it's totally fine. He's a guy who I think is going to be more of a 2. They're probably going to slot him in like as a shooting guard, but he will be able to defend depending on the situation 1 through 5. Like if it's Draymond, I mean, he could defend Draymond for times,
Yeah, because he's not just big; he's legit strong. Because he barrels through some guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that's what he's going to do right now. Like that's a couple years away. But I do think he is a guy because of the catch and shoot, because of the handling, and because of the defense. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be in the G League all year. At least he shouldn't be, in my opinion. But then again, with the way that the team is being set up, we have no idea like how much he's actually going to get to play with the parent club. But I do have faith that Kobe Carl and Joey Buss are going to do great things with him down in South Bay. Was there really any final thoughts on him? I know like we're all pretty excited, other than Cam being melancholy about everything. But like was there someone else that you guys would have preferred at 46?
No, Tucker was the only choice for me. Well, no, there's guys I would have been happy with, but Tucker is by far the person I would have been the happiest by.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Cam agrees with that. Nelson?
Huh?
Was there anyone else that you would have preferred at 46, or are you was he your top choice?
I mean, he was up there definitely. I kind of like Daniel Gafford a bit there too.
Gafford, he was already gone.
Yeah, he was, but him and Carson Edwards were two guys that I was really hoping would fall down there. Tucker was also one of those guys. I mean,
I was in on Gafford. I'm not in on Edwards, but
yeah, I mean that's fair. I just thought shooting as a whole, but yeah, I mean at that point it's kind of really murky about who Lakers should try to go after. I think Talen Horton Tucker is kind of like the after that it gets pretty rough. Like the picks after that were just like wow. There's
Yeah.
a big drop off here, and like
Yeah.
it's really got to steal.
I think he was the last guy where I was like, yeah, no, he should have been a first round draft pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, one last thing that I forgot to bring up. Talen Horton Tucker played at Iowa State, which Iowa State plays a pro style of basketball. So
they
that
definitely
is, yeah, it's not going to be like there shouldn't be a terrible transition, say of like if he had gone to Duke, who a lot of times does not play a modern style.
You mean he didn't play zone or boxing one for all this college career?
Not too
Yeah.
much.
I'm sorry, Cam, but yeah, Coach K does run an antiquated system. Anyways, I think that's good. THT is definitely a guy that, in whether they had traded for AD or not, I think he's a guy that all of us would have been really happy with. So overall, I think it's a great pick, and
very much looking forward to the league for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's gonna make summer league worth it. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it kind of throws me back to like after the D'Angelo draft, when like we signed a few guys that were kind of this elk. Like there was like Jonathan Holmes and a few other guys that.
Oh man, that undrafted free agent team or whatever on South Bay of my God, of Robert Upshaw, Jonathan Holmes, and Michael Frazier.
There you go.
That was a thing of beauty, and I hope that they can somehow get something that gets kind of close to something like that.
There's still a ton of guys out there.
Yeah, I mean, never forget PJ Dozier, who's.
Oh man, I was happy about him. What was it? 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
I mean,
before we move on, is there any other guys who are still available right now that you want to go after? Clayton.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would go with. Most people are going to say Jonte Porter, and I would be more than happy to take Jonte. My thing is that he's just not healthy. So like, that's a long play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get that his upside, and especially in this draft, is top 10. Like, his upside is ridiculous, but he's torn his ACL twice in less than 11 months. Plus, he went from being, team porker to team, like, vegan. I have no idea what happened to him. Didn't even look like Jonte. So, like, I've heard a couple of people say that drastic of weight change could be bad for his own joints as well. I'm not sure about that. I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to preach that, but he's what?
No, nothing. I was reacting to the fact that you weren't a doctor.
Oh yeah, I know. Surprise. But he would be a guy I would target. There are reports that Shamori Pons did not actually sign with the Houston Rockets. He would be a guy that I would look into. He was a guy that I thought was an early second round pick, early second round to mid second round. I've never been a huge fan of him, mainly because I have a prejudice against height.
You are heightist.
I am a heightist. If you are not 6'4" or higher, I am not a fan. And he's barely 6 foot. So he though his basketball skills would be welcomed. I think he's a very good potential backup.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he would be a guy. And then a name that we kind of thrown out just in group chats and stuff like that is Rajon Tucker. Yes. He played in, what was it, Division II?
He played D2. No. He played at Florida Gulf Coast, and then he went to Little Rock.
Yeah. And then he was becoming a graduate transfer to Memphis, I believe.
Memphis, yes.
He's a uber athlete, ridiculously athletic, can shoot pretty well, can handle some. I don't know how much about passing.
He's an okay passer, but like he only averaged like just under 2 assists per game.
Yeah. So, but the defense is just atrocious. But
he's a defender.
But he's a guy that I was actually surprised stayed in the draft, and I thought next year he could become a late first round pick or early second round pick. He's a guy that I would definitely be considered in.
Out of the point guards, is Kerwin Roach is one
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Who else is there?
Daquan Jeffries is a guy that kind of caught my eye.
I think he
picked up by the.
was.
I forget. Someone picked him up.
Oh,
Terrence Davis would be a guy in that who's in the same sort of mold as well.
Yeah.
Scoring guard. Who else? There's a lot of guys. I mean, Charles Matthews is in that same Jonte.
He apparently got signed by the Wizards.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It was in the group chat. I'm looking for the list. According to Ben Pfeiffer, or it could be I'm sorry, that was a different Matthews. It was
Aaron Matthews, right?
Yeah, something like that.
A couple other guys who I'm seeing right here. Yavol Zusman, he's an international guy. Zach Norvo Jr. from Gonzaga, who's a guard. Am I missing someone? There's a couple more. Kerwin Roach, like I said. Naz Reid already got picked up by the Timberwolves.
Yeah, Daquan Jeffries was picked up by the Orlando Magic.
Lou King, I know Cam, you're a fan of Lou King, right?
Yeah.
From Oregon?
Yeah.
Justin Harper from Auburn. Conchar already got picked up by the Grizzlies. There's a lot of guys out there still. So Lakers need to be signing a few of these guys if they can. Just because we might need some of them, you know.
Yeah, you could even go guys like that also didn't get drafted. Charles Bassey.
He went back to school.
No, he stayed in the draft.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure he went back to school.
No, I'm pretty sure he stayed in the draft. He was at least marked by Mark Deeks NBA to have not been drafted. Sagaba Connaughton, that was a guy
he won't enter NBA draft. Will turn Western Kentucky.
Did he return? Okay.
Yeah.
As I said, Sagaba Connaughton from Western Virginia would be a guy that some people might be interested in. Then it just turns into a list of kind of interesting guys, but
that's where Joey and Jesse shine right there. That's where they found Josh, JW from this year, Alex Caruso, people like
Jonathan
that.
Williams, I think they'll probably find a couple guys, but yeah.
Nelson, was there anyone else that you could think of that we didn't point out?
Did you guys talk about Naz Reid? Because Naz Reid was a guy.
I did. He's
already. He already went to
geez, all these undrafted free agents that are kind of what was looking towards kind of all got snatched up.
I didn't like Naz Reid anyways. He good offensive, but he was atrocious defensively.
Yeah, he had a pretty rough motor, but I don't know. Giving him some summer league minutes and being undrafted, maybe that would wake him up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Ethan Kyle Happy.
Oh yeah, Ethan Hatt would be a good one especially if he could learn how to shoot. That'd be a really interesting one
on the offensive side because he's a pretty skilled basketball player.
Who?
Ethan. He do everything but shoot on offense.
Yeah, when you said Ethan, it kind of like blanked out on me. My bad. So, anyways, we'll be probably talking a lot about that coming up. So let's kind of transition to the aftermath, whatever you want to call, of the Anthony Davis trade.
Shit show.
Precisely.
So like sitting there with like his arms crossed and he's like pouting.
Yeah, I can imagine it. I can imagine that. Yep. So when we potted last, with Nas, the Lakers had just traded for Anthony Davis and gave up a lot. Some people said not enough, but then when you start hearing guys like even buddy of the podcast, Cole Zwicker, and who a lot of people like, Sam Vecini, talking about, it was kind of necessary to, if you want Anthony Davis, you needed to give up a lot, but they kind of sold the farm on it. there's been a whole mess anyways after that. When we were talking about it, we kind of assumed the trade would be completed July 30th. That way, the Lakers could have maximized cap space in order to get a max contract. But now it seems that that is not the case, that the Lakers will, in fact, have to complete the deal July 6th. And that was apparently from, I don't remember exactly who said it. If the Lakers wanted to push it back, they would have had to probably give up Kuzma, which the Lakers did not want to do because, well, let me talk, okay? Because the Pelicans wanted to get it done sooner, July 6th. So that suite they would have in order to push it back those 3+ weeks, they would have needed an extra sweetener. I don't think Wagner or Bonga or Jones or anyone would have been enough to sweeten the deal for them. That's why I kind of hinted towards Kuzma. Maybe not. That might not have been the case, but point still stands. They would have wanted a sweetener. So now the Lakers, according to reporting, blah blah blah, backtracking, going here, going there. The Lakers are trying to obviously get cap space, enough cap space to sign a max free agent by July 6th. With that means that the Lakers are going to have to move the contracts of Mo Wagner, Isak Bonga, and Jamario Jones. And I think the perfect spot is Atlanta, who Atlanta traded with the Pelicans in order to get the 4th pick, to where they drafted DeAndre Hunter, which if the Lakers, hook up with the Hawks, then it makes it a 3-team deal and everyone can be happy. Now, if that happens, that's a whole different thing. But because of having to consummate the trade or however you want to phrase it, by July 6th, the Lakers are still, in fact, going to have to give up a couple of their other young guys. Did anyone have any real thoughts on that? I think Merge did.
Yeah, it's pretty much just there's a lot of confusion out there right now, and not really anybody knows exactly what's going on with that whole thing. One minute Pelinka has no idea what he's doing, and he doesn't know how to work the cap. The next minute they knew all along that this was going to happen. There's a lot of just like back and forth with a lot of different media members. I don't when it comes to reporting, Woj is the best in the business. I'm not going to doubt that. Obviously, Woj is a great reporter, and when it's concrete evidence that's being reported, he's one of the best out there. But when it comes to his opinion, I think a lot of people take that as like bond, like that's what the realistic thing is, and that's not always the case. He can be wrong, and it's not. And Laker fans are acting like Woj is like the fake news media or whatever. We're calling out a guy who was wrong, and then he had to backtrack, very obviously backtrack, even though about 24 hours ago he was saying that Clint got no idea what he's doing. Same with Ramona, who is in the same boat right here, maybe even worse. Until at least
I've been on that boat for a long time with Ramona.
No, I know. I'm talking about this situation.
Yeah.
At the very least, Woj tweeted the backtrack, and what's her name? Ramona hasn't said anything since, even though she was completely wrong, and even though she doesn't have any source in the Anthony Davis and any Anthony Davis source. She said it herself an hour before the trade happened that her AD source said that there was no deal going down, and that happened an hour later. So why are we supposed to trust her? And then and a lot of the time when she's giving her personal opinion on stuff, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it, she said that why would the Lakers make more cap space if they can't get or why would they make more cap space if they know someone can come for less than the max? For a couple of reasons. One, not a lot of players are going to be like, okay, I'll give you $2 million back, right, or whatever, $3 million back, whatever it's going to be. Two, we want all the money that we can get to go out and get a bunch of role players. If the max guy doesn't come, we need as much money as we can get to get the Patrick Beverleys and the Danny Greens and the Nikola Mirotic's and
Marcus Morris.
Marcus Morris, people like that, a ton of people like that. There's a lot out there this offseason in the wing department and help the Lakers out pretty like immediately, obviously. And why wouldn't we want more money to sign those players, even if the max guy isn't coming? So all this reporting seems to be going back and forth. As of right now, as everything stands right now, and you have to take this very literally, with everything that is agreed to right now, the Lakers are only going to get 23.7 mil available in offseason, and it'll jump up to 27.7 if AD waives his trade bonus, right?
Yeah, which if they're going to sign a max guy, I totally expect him to waive that.
Yeah. That's not including Demario Jones, Mo Wagner, and Isaac Bonga's contracts, right? That would add an extra $4 million. Am I wrong?
I think I'll check the numbers here in a second. I think you only have to give up 2 of them, but I'm not 100% sure. I think everyone just kind of lumps them in because it's going to have to be essentially the same thing.
Okay.
But
and that would pretty much make the max fit. Create a max base?
Yeah.
That would. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or it would be like just barely shy, and then you can kind of do like cap gymnastics of getting, the guy to take, $200,000 less or something like that.
Okay. So, with that, the way it is, we could still get a max guy by not trading on July 30th. And Woj reported that there's no way that we can. And then other people came out and said, no, actually there is. And then Woj comes back and says, oh, yeah, because of this. And it's just a lot of misinformation coming from everywhere.
Yeah, and I just think that Woj, when it comes to like cap stuff and all this other stuff, like he's not totally well versed in it. Like he specializes as like an inside player. And then when it comes to like other things, like understanding like how these like more minute things happen, he's not really super well versed. So he kind of speaks kind of not totally being like a guy that knows all that much. And then people say, "Oh, it's Woj," so whatever Woj says is 100% true. When it turns out that it's not. So
yeah, you do have to give up all 3 because Jamario Jones's deal is non-guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just to get to that $4 million or so, and you would be you'd be a couple $100,000 off of that $4 million. So yeah, they're obviously going to want to do that. So you would have to give up all 3 of them.
Okay. Well
which is fine if you're getting a Kawhi Leonard or a Jimmy Butler or someone like that.
Yeah. So as of right now, and everyone seems to be acting like, oh, Laker fans are just mad that it's not going their way, so they're just discrediting Woj. That's not what's happening at all. And we're not just listening to people who only say good things about the Lakers. We're looking for people who are saying the correct things about the Lakers. Look at Bill Orm, who recently like completely shitted on the Lakers organization, the front office, especially Jeannie, and he's saying today that they're not panicking, the Lakers. They knew about this whole thing all along. So and that's not a guy who I would say is only saying good things about the Lakers. He's just saying the correct things about the Lakers.
Well, according to Woj, we were scrambling. So I mean,
yeah, we were scrambling to get to trade these guys so we can get our max guy. It's neither here nor there. Woj definitely has his ulterior motives, and it is what it is at this point. I'm not gonna discredit the guy when he reports something. Like the stuff that he reports isn't gonna be fake. That's what's happening, but it's in a very literal sense. The stuff that's happening at this second, not the stuff that's happening that could happen in a couple of days when the trade actually goes down. So that's whatever. I just wanted to be reported on. The Lakers aren't going to be able to get a max guy, blah, blah, blah. The Pelicans got all these assets in return. The Lonzo and Ingram and Zion are going to create this superstar core, and Oh, and yeah, they're great, and we've been saying it for years. But now, all of a sudden, they're great to you guys, and
Bullshit.
it's whatever. I'm not trying to talk about the Pelicans and all that because they're in a great situation now with all the young guys, and they're going to be good really soon. But the way that it's presented isn't because the way it's presented is they weren't good in LA. Now all of a sudden they're the superstar core, and I think they are a superstar core, but no one else thought that outside of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But
I
it
agree with that.
is what it is. If you guys have anything else to add to that whole thing, but that's just my little spiel on it.
Nelson?
Not really. I just like if you need to get rid of those minute guys. Like at the end of the day, like I mean, maybe Wagner or Bonga turn out to pan out more than what they've done so far. But like I don't think it's gonna be a huge loss if we have to get rid of them. And at the end of the day, you get rid of them every single time if it means getting a max guy. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean you get rid of them. I think probably regardless because you probably want to better spend that money on another ring chaser probably. So
You not really how technically how it would work.
because wait,
You would have to straight dump those guys in another deal, and then you still kind of have like the hold of vet minimum guys. And honestly, like, is Tyson Chandler or Mo Wagner gonna provide more for you? I honestly don't.
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
really. I mean, that's I guess that kind of goes next to my point of just what say the Lakers do get their max guy. Okay, they've traded Mo Wagner. They've gotten rid of Jamario Jones and Isaac Bonga. Now the roster is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kyle Kuzma, soon to be Taylor Horton Tucker, because he has to sign, and after the whole logistics of it, so they can maximize their own blah blah blah. And then obviously I would hope it would be Caruso because of just how much he showed. So you got 5 guys. All right. You've got
and the max guy.
And the max guy. So 6 guys. So now you have 9 official spots. Excuse me, 9 official spots on the roster, and then obviously 2 two-ways. I would assume probably Jonathan Williams would be one guy that they would keep at least on the 2-way. He does not count towards the cap at all because he is a 2-way player. That means that the Lakers
mid-level guy, and then
you do. The Lakers do not have a mid-level. They do not have a biannual. They have a room exception.
The 4-5 is the room exception.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
No, I think it's 4.7 million, and the MLE, the mid-level, is 5.7.
Right.
But the thing is you have the mid-level guy, and then you're essentially going to have a bunch of minimum guys.
Right. And I would assume that would be people like Trevor Ariza, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that even though most of us probably are kind of done with him, he's probably going to be back. KCP is probably going to be back. Another clutch client.
As long as it's not Rondo, I'm fine.
I don't know if Rondo's going to be back or not. I hope not, but we'll see. And then, so like, I guess my question is like, we're gonna the Lakers are probably gonna have to sign vet minimum guys, the ring chasers or whatever. I've always said those ring chasers are not what most people think. You might be able to get like a guy like Rudy Gay, because he's made, I think someone said 137 million in his career. So like money isn't really a big thing to him. I mean, it can be. Don't get me wrong, it can be, but he might just be looking to get a ring. So like he's a guy who I think is going to actually be good still chasing a ring. But if you're filling the roster with like a Trevor Ariza, who Lakers fans still have like this romanticized version of him, he was not good in Phoenix, and he was not very good in Washington this year. He just kind of looks done. Now, if he's the vet minimum, he'll be fine. But like, you're not getting Trevor Ariza of even 3 years ago.
Maybe you can get Baines on a minimum now if he gets bought out.
Yeah. So then you're looking at other buyout guys. So Baines, if he gets bought out, Aaron Baines, the former big man of the Celtics, who they traded, even though they said they wouldn't trade him, to the Phoenix Suns.
Corver, probably, I'm assuming.
Corver. He's most likely going to be bought out from what I've heard or read. Now, that's yet to be seen, obviously. And then, obviously, the situation with J.R. Smith.
I can definitely see JR. Maybe Kojo, since he's a clutch guy.
Kojo could, but he's also a guy, I don't know. He's only like 28 or 29, I think. I don't know if
Keith Morris, not Marcus, but maybe Keith Morris.
I don't honestly see him doing it either. So you're kind of looking at Corver, J.R. Smith,
Trevor Ariza,
maybe a Trevor Ariza, maybe that's not even for sure.
Right. Wayne Ellington.
Oh God, another player Lakers fans romanticize. He's not. He's either.
He's a shooter. He can
shoot. He can shoot, but he's just going to give that shot right back up. So whatever. And then Aaron Baines.
Maybe what's his name? Jay Crowder if he gets bought out by the Grizzlies.
Yeah, another guy. I don't know how much he enjoyed his time in Cleveland with LeBron, so I don't know if like that would be a scenario that he would enjoy coming to.
I don't know if I said Noel, but maybe Noel.
Nerlens Noel, another guy. So those are about 7 guys we've named off.
Mm-hmm.
Now I honestly don't think the Lakers are going to get all those guys.
Right.
I think they maybe get 2 or 3 of them.
A couple of those guys overlap too. I mean,
yeah, I think they get maybe 2 or 3 of those guys. My thing then is you're probably gonna have to fill it with the older ring chasers. You know,
Vince Carter. Let's do it.
Vince Carter. I would still love to have.
Hey, 40% on catch and shoot threes.
Yep, he could provide you a couple minutes a game. But he's not a guy that I would really want playing a ton of minutes because he is 42 years old.
Obviously.
I don't want Jamal Crawford. God, I don't want Jamal Crawford.
He needs to be a priority in free agency, Clayton.
That's a guy. Who was it? Stephen A. Smith said.
Yeah, it's Stephen A. Smith.
I don't like those are ring chasers, nowadays. I guess the thing I'm leading up to this whole spiel are there guys that are quote unquote reclamation projects that you would consider to bring in? Reclamation projects, in my opinion, are guys that are maybe coming off their first contract where they disappointed, or coming off a second contract where like they again disappointed. A reclamation project is not like a Jeremy Lamb. Where he was making $7.5 million or whatever.
He was doing okay over in Charlotte.
Yeah, he was okay. Yeah, I think he's a average to below average player, but he's going to get more than what the Lakers will have. So the guys that I'm kind of talking about are those young guys who have quote unquote a desire to show that they're not crap. You said Frank Kaminsky. A guy that, even though I've never really been a fan of him, but a guy I could see with LA ties, in Stanley Johnson, former lottery pick, Detroit Pistons. Now he's with the Pelicans. The Pelicans only have to offer him the qualifying offer, but from their draft and from the trade and probably some of the moves, free agent guys that they're going to want to get, I could see Stanley Johnson being a casualty of them. They didn't. It's not like they gave up really anything to get him from. Was it Detroit or did they actually get him from like Milwaukee? Because there was like a weird.
Detroit drafted him, and then I think he was traded to somewhere else, and then he went to the Pelicans.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick. But that's a guy that, even though I'm not a huge fan of, he's a guy that I could potentially see them, that quote unquote reclamation. Now he was traded by Detroit. I thought like because Detroit also did like a Thon Maker trade, and I thought it could have been somehow like a 3-way deal in there. And maybe it was. But anyways, is there anyone? Merge, you said Kaminsky. Maybe you can go on him in just a minute. But like, I guess the reason why I say Stanley is he's a wing. Obviously, the Lakers going to need wings. He's 6'7", 245, so he's big and he's strong. He's pretty athletic. He's not the freak that people thought that he was. He's not a very good shooter in his career. In his 4 seasons, he is a below 30% 3-point shooter.
It's 3 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock. Okay. In New Orleans, he shot 32.5% from 3 on less than 2 attempts per game. So he's obviously not a shooter. His free throw shooting has historically been 76%, but he's not a guy that I'm really asking to handle the ball a lot. I'm asking him to defend, and I mean I'd have to look up like catch and shoot threes. I don't know exactly how he did. I know the corner 3 he shot 36% from the corner in New Orleans, so 30% overall on the year. I don't know. Like he's obviously with reclamation projects, they're not guys that are like gonna wow you, like
Yeah.
they're guys that they're reclamation projects because they've had issues. He's a guy that, Florida lottery pick, a guy that people have been on, he's got that draft pedigree and the historical pedigree. And he's even shown moments in the NBA. He's a guy that I could see. So yeah, Merge, you said Kaminsky. Do you want to talk about him real quick?
I mean, mainly just for the shooting. There's really much after that to really say about him. He's a good shooter. He hasn't been great at many other places, but he's still a really good shooter. That's what he was in college. Another guy that I can think of that was just recently the qualifying offer was withdrawn is Rondé Hollis Jefferson of the Nets, and
Yeah,
I'd rather have him than Stanley Johnson, for being completely honest.
Oh yeah, no, he's at least we know he's really good on defense.
Yes.
He's just even worse on offense.
I mean, I get that, but there isn't. You kind of can't really be picky with a lot of these guys.
No, I agree. Just for reference, Kaminsky 38% from 3 last year and 36% from 3 this year on 3.5 and 3 attempts. So
yeah,
If Mario Hezonja wants to like rekindle any stock that he has, then he should probably come to the Lakers and try to knock down some threes.
You just said the best words you could declare.
I'm always on the Mario Hezonja train. So.
Also the Dragon. The Dragon's also.
Oh, Bender, yeah, I forgot about Bender for a second.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone even attempts of that one. So even though like I wouldn't necessarily be down on it, but.
Yeah, Clayton, me and you talked about this one, and we don't know exactly if Denver will waive him, but Trey Lyles will be another one if they do waive him.
Yeah, I mean,
he kind of fits that. He's the guy who can shoot. Hypothetically, he can shoot.
Yeah, he had a really, really poor year this year.
Uh-huh.
Again, that would be why he'd be a quote unquote reclamation project.
Yep.
But last year he shot 38% from 3. That's why people were so high on him. This year he shot 25% from 3. While seeing like a decrease in a lot of different areas, it looks like.
You could maybe see someone try to move for Marquise Chris. Maybe Lakers move for Marquise Chris.
I think that's not even a reclamation project.
The Rockets already tried reclaiming him there, and that it didn't work.
Yeah, and the Cavaliers tried that, and there was a reason why I never had him in my top 20.
You can also include Moutier in this as well.
Moutier actually would be a guy that I would always thought like Moutier could at least be a backup point guard. He did shoot 33% from three this year, in New York. Career wise, he's only 32%. But honestly, like, I would take Moutier before I would take Rondo. I know like people are gonna hate,
Not a hot
like
take, really.
casuals are gonna say that's a hot take. But Rondo was like literally one of the worst players in all of basketball last year.
Yeah.
So
He was a minus 11, I think, in RPM. Or
yeah,
it was either 8 or 11. It was bad. It was really bad.
yeah,
He was even worse with LeBron. When
Yeah.
he played with LeBron.
yeah. So if Emmanuel Moutier was to be the guy that was signed, Caruso, in my opinion, would be the starter. But
Or you can have him as a third string guy if you bring in Kojo as well.
yeah, exactly. It's, and again, these are those quote unquote reclamation projects.
Yeah.
So like you can literally look at lottery picks in the last 5 or 6 years. So most of these guys are within the last 4 years or so. And see if like any of them are, any type of signs of life. So I think those are people that or players that people are going to have to like have like a healthy curiosity for. If
Yeah.
that makes any sense. Cam, did you have anyone in mind, or do you not agree or anything like that? Any thoughts?
Did Cam fall asleep?
Probably. We're gonna have to edit that out. That's awesome. I mean, it is 3:00 there.
I love Ed Davis though. If we can get him back somehow.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be a
Ed
big
Davis
man.
might be a mid-level or a room guy.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't honestly. I want to give him a room. I mean, bigs. The Lakers have been able to find bigs so cheap. I mean, JaVale
you can bring JaVale back, yeah.
for the minimum. I mean, I don't know if JaVale wants to come back on the minimum, but honestly, like, who in the world is going to give you more than a minimum, dude?
I mean, some might give him a little more, but like, I'm assuming he'd rather play for the Lakers.
Yeah, I would assume. So yeah, I don't want to go too long. I don't want to drag this one out. So, did you guys have any final thoughts?
No, that's pretty much it. Just welcome THT to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And please, it's not like I think Darius put it best on the Lakers Film Room podcast. I think getting AD is not what mattered. It's kind of like the 3 to 10 steps after that.
Yep.
I mean,
After we signed LeBron, we signed Rondo. We let Julius walk. We signed Lance Stevenson. We signed KCP.
It's those. Like I never really thought like the Lakers would have an issue getting the stars, whether they developed or whether they got them in free agency or a trade. My concerns, especially with because I still consider, even though Magic's not there, I consider it still the front office, the same front office. It's just taking him out of the situation.
You know what was actually worse than actually signing KCP? It was how much money they gave him. They gave him $10 million, right?
No,
$12 million.
They could have given 4 of that to Brooke Lopez,
Yep.
And I'm sure KCP would have been fine taking 8 to play with LeBron.
I mean, who else was going to give him $8 million?
Exactly. So I mean,
especially since now that he might just be a room exception guy. So like that's just my problem with this front office is those around the margin guys. That's why I'm looking at like you're going to have to try those reclamation projects.
Yep.
Now, if they're smart enough to do that, I have no idea. And again, like who knows if those guys actually pan out. Like for all we know, Stanley could just be this is Stanley and he's done,
Yeah.
But I'm very concerned with the around the margins things, like because you cannot play LeBron and AD 38 minutes a game, in my opinion, during the regular season, because especially since both of them are guys that have historically had to miss time sometime.
I mean,
You know,
LeBron historically hasn't.
I mean, you're going to want to rest LeBron. He is 30.
Obviously,
He is.
but it's not historic. AD, yeah, but I mean,
I'm meaning more like he's not historically going to miss a ton of time, like from injury. But I mean, like this is a guy that you do want to rest. You know, like because what you want LeBron for is the playoffs. And once you get to the playoffs, then that turns into a whole nother thing because LeBron and AD are just going to wreck worlds. But it's around the margins issues for what, even for the playoffs, because the playoffs usually your depth chart has to go at least 7-8 deep, in my opinion. And can the Lakers get there? I don't know. I don't know if they can.
Yeah,
I mean, I still like. I'm not gonna say like they're not like title contenders or Western Conference contenders or like anything like that. But they are going to need good players that aren't Trevor Ariza.
No, I mean, yeah, obviously, but I mean, it depending on what happens with free agency. Are you still? You'd rather get a third star, or would you rather spread it out?
Yes.
You'd still rather get a third star.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Just the way you're talking about it, it made it.
No. Like, I mean, if it's the Kawhi, the Jimmy Butler, I mean, like if it starts coming down to, like a Tobias Harris, then I'm really considering just the depth. Like, I really like Tobias Harris, but
What about Kyrie or depth?
I think most people are going to disagree with me, but I think depth.
I
wouldn't be mad at signing Kyrie, but one, he's a headache just because he's a moron, and two, he's dealt with knee issues for the last couple of years, and I worry about that. I mean, if you win a title, then I guess it's all worth it, obviously, but if it gets, I mean, mainly if it gets down to like the Tobias or for me Kemba or anything like that, then I'm
Middleton.
Middleton's not leaving. They're gonna completely throw whatever at him to keep him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he wants to leave. So
I wonder if they lose Brogdon because of that. Because I mean, I think Brogdon's going to get somewhere from 18 to 22 million from somebody.
Yeah. I think that's. I mean, that's why they dumped Snell, and they're looking to dump.
That was really the only
Ilyasova. They're trying to dump Ilyasova. So, like if they're gonna sign those guys, but so then I guess that just kind of, I mean, that's a topic I think for another podcast within the next week or so. Like if you can't get a max guy, like what restricted free agents do you target? Because honestly, if you can't get a max guy,
I go right to Horford, by the way, on that one.
Yeah, I would probably go Horford, but I'm also a guy, I only give him 3 years max.
Well, I mean, then it looks like you're looking for a 3 or 4 year. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give him 4, but like that's, like when do you start looking at the restricted free agents? The D'Angelo Russell, bringing him back. I don't know if he would want to come back, and I don't know if the front office would want him back.
Ari said,
huh? Oh,
I said, well, Ari says.
Yeah. Or Brogdon, because Brogdon would fit really well as well.
He'd be an awesome fit with the team.
Like when you start looking at guys like that. But again, that's for another time. Anyways, I didn't really intend to kind of go on like a max guy or whatever thing like that. But any final words, Nelson, before we end this?
No, I think at this point it's just let's wait and see how the small signings all happen to work out, because at the end of the day that's what's going to matter. I'm really hoping to get a max guy. I think I'm probably higher on Kyrie than both of you guys are. So go Kyrie. The Illuminati is real. Yeah.
I'm fine with believing the Illuminati, but if you say the flat Earth, I'm driving down to San Diego and I'm chucking you in the ocean.
That's fair. That's fair. Good thing I don't believe in that.
Okay, good. So, all right, I think Cam's asleep. Merge.
I've been here this whole time.
We
Yeah,
called you and you said nothing.
you fell asleep. Get out of here.
No, I didn't.
That's the guilty. No, I didn't.
We literally joked about it for like 30 seconds.
I heard you say it's like 3:00 there. I heard you say that.
But you didn't respond.
And then we said, "You have any thoughts on that, Cam?" And you said nothing. I'm like, "Is Cam asleep?" And you said nothing.
Oh, I totally missed that.
That's great. Yeah, because he could hear it in his dream, but not because he was actually awake. Anyways, Cam, then do you have any final things then that you want to say?
Nah, I mean, I guess I just want to clarify that I'm kind of excited about Talen. Yeah, I'm just kind of in my feelings about everything else surrounding the Lakers, but I am excited about the prospect of Talen being on the team and stuff like that. But other than that, nah, not really.
Cool. Merge.
Yeah, like I said, I'm excited about Talen. I'm excited that we were able to get him. And at 46, I didn't think he'd be possible to be. I thought at the very least he'd go 35, top 35.
Yeah.
But now he's a Laker, which is awesome. So it's going to be exciting to see how he does in Summer League and beyond that.
Agreed. So, all right. You can catch Merge at, oh my gosh, what is your new account, Merge?
My new one is Merge1998. I am still trying to get my old one back.
Yeah, that's never happening. Okay, so you can follow Merge at Merge1998. You can follow Nelson. Oh my goodness, I always want to say not famous Nelson anymore.
RIP.
I missed that one. So what is it now, Nelson? Is it just Nelson Espinal?
No, at I don't know. IDK. Espinoza. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. And then
Cam.
Cam is 3 underscores Kalu2, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to simplify that one day.
Yeah. And then you can follow me at Lakers1949. And this has been episode 38?
38, if you don't count the 2 non-episode one.
Okay. And the Under the Bus podcast. We're trying to get better. It's 1:00. I'm tired.
It's actually 3:00.
Oh yeah, 3:00 for Cam. And we're all tired. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.